Hello, besties. This is the podcast Best for Me, validating narcissist abuse survivors and daughters with narcissist mothers, and anyone who has been in a narcissist relationship or has been emotionally abused. I'm Shayla, and the narcissist in my life is my mother. How's it going, besties? Good, I hope. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month. I want you to keep listening. I know the topic of child abuse is not a fave, but talking about things is how we implement change. I was abused as a child, and it continued on into my adult life until I decided to go no contact with my mother and narcissist brother. I have some child abuse statistics for you today. But before that, let's go shopping. If you haven't seen the Deals episode, go check it out. You can listen to the Deals episode, or you can just go to the episode description for the links and promo codes for the deals exclusive to Best for Me listeners. I have 5 deals going right now, and the one deal that everyone is going for are the sunglasses on the AKILA website. If you haven't got your sunglasses for the summer, go to the website, use my promo code B4Me, and get a cool discount. These are very stylish sunglasses, and they also have optical glasses with the blue light blocker to prevent strain on your eyes from the computer screen. We all need that. There are some other super cool deals as well, and I know you can use the Shop app for deferred payments on the AKILA sunglasses website, and I think Shop may be used for the other products as well. So you can purchase now and pay later. I'll have to check, but you can definitely use Shop to pay later on the AKILA website. Now for the child abuse statistics. Based on 2023 data, an estimated 546,159 children were victims of abuse and neglect in the United States, representing a victim rate of 7.4 per 1,000 children. Neglect is the most prevalent form of abuse, accounting for roughly 74%, 76% of cases, followed by physical abuse, 17%. An estimated 2,000 children died from abuse or neglect in 2023. The child fatality rate has increased by nearly 30% over the last decade. Children in their first year of life, infants are the most vulnerable. Perpetrators. Parents are the perpetrators in nearly 90% of cases. The other 10%, I'm guessing, is child care environments and babysitters. Demographics. American Indian or Alaska Native children have the highest rate of victimization, 13.8 per 1,000, followed by African American children, 11.9 per 1,000. Girls had a higher victimization rate, 7.9 per 1,000, compared to boys, 6.9 per 1,000. However, boys have a higher fatality rate. Children in families with low socioeconomic status have rates of abuse and neglect 5 times higher than those with higher status. Cycle of abuse. About 30% of abused and neglected children will later abuse their own children. Global statistics. Globally, it is estimated that up to 1 billion children aged to 17 years have experienced physical, sexual, or emotional violence or neglect in the past year. This is heartbreaking to know children are being abused at this magnitude. These statistics are based on reported abuse, but what about all the children who are being abused that we don't know of? Children are the most vulnerable people, and their protection should always be prioritized. It is so important for children of all ages to have a safe place to go and a person they can trust to talk to. If you've read my book, You're Not My Mother, You're a Narcissist, you know I can speak on child abuse from firsthand experience. It is a very delicate circumstance for a child to tell someone they are being hurt. First of all, the child does not want the parent to get into trouble. Children will love their parents no matter how bad they are being treated. Second of all, the child themselves do not want to get into trouble for telling on their parent. That was always my fear. I wanted to tell, sometimes I tried to tell, but I was so afraid that if exposing my mother backfired, I would end up in a worse situation. Thirdly, children do not want to disrupt what is familiar to them for something that is unfamiliar. If reporting a parent means having to leave home, leave siblings or other family members who they love and adore, a child will endure the abuse without telling anyone. I was such a conflicted child. I actually had an opportunity to be taken out of my abusive environment to live with my grandparents when I was in the 4th grade. My grandmother was trying to get custody of me based on what she knew about my mother as well as the things I told her. I stayed with my grandparents long enough to have to start school while living with them. It was a healthier environment for me to be in because my needs were being met. I remember the court dates my grandmother had to attend, and I remember being questioned about my mother. I also remember how I missed my mother and how I would call my mother to talk to her. On one occasion, my grandmother heard me on the phone with my mother and yelled at me to get off of the phone. You see, my grandmother was about to gain legal custody of me, so I would be her child and not her grandchild. Seems like it should have been that way anyway because my grandmother always referred to me as her child and not her grandchild. The reason for this was because she felt my mother didn't take care of me, but my grandmother did. Anyway, I believe I said I wanted to go home, and that ended all the efforts my grandparents made to get custody of me, particularly my grandmother. I look back now and wonder, why did I leave a good situation where I was being loved, cared for, and needs being met? The truth is, a child's love for a parent is innate. A parent can't do any wrong in the eyes of their children. When dealing with a family where there is child abuse, these circumstances need to be understood before making decisions to separate the child from the parent who is hurting them. Child abuse usually means the parents, either one or both, were abused as a child. We need to get to the root of the problem to prevent the abuse. We must assess the child's safety. If a bad incident has already occurred, the child may not be safe to remain in the home, even if the parent is actively working on improving their parenting skills through the state. Too many children have been left in harm's way with their abusive parent. I'm a parent too, and I've also volunteered as CASA for 2 years, which is a court-appointed special advocate. I work 2 big cases, and the state will always try to give a parent an opportunity to prove the child should remain with them, but if the parent has not successfully fulfilled the state's requirements to maintain parental rights, the state of Tennessee does not hesitate to find the child adequate care elsewhere. As CASA, we would always look to the relatives of the child for a suitable home. Sometimes the relatives don't want the family drama and will not take the children, which means the children will go into the broken foster care system and be a ward of the state. I will end the episode with this. Whenever you have an opportunity to help a child, especially if the child is in your own family, do whatever you can to help that child. Their life and development depends on it. If you were able to take in a niece or nephew that you know is being mistreated and abused by your sister or brother, would you take the child in? It's just a question. But your answer could save a child's life. If nothing else, be that person who a child can trust and be there for them when they need you to be. Have your best day being you. This is Child Abuse Prevention Month. This is Best for Me, and I'm Shayla,